including little patches of the mountain forest which you have at the Mambila corner. Those are the things we traditionally know as the forest area. However, the woodland and the deciduous environment cannot but be included in this now. And so the reason why we are including it, you will still find out that by the definition, the rainfall regime within forest environment have been reduced to about 1,000 millimeters of rainfall annually. The Nigerian lowland moist forests, these ones are found presently today in areas like Lagos State, Ogun State, Ondo, Edo Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Abia, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River, including Adamawa and Taraba State. The structure of these forests have been described variously, but from my personal works and some of the people working around me, we find out that the structure of these forests have been described in the forest reserve. That is Ogunjabite 205, where we reported about 125 species of woody plant with mean basal area of 39.94 square meter per hectare. The basal area is talking about the general productivity of the forest. And of course, reporting about 125 species of woody plants, we know that actually a lot of things are there, but the woody plants are often one of the main areas by which we can actually quantify our forest reserve, because the woody plants are the dominant ones and they control other species. Of Cross River National Park, that is in the northern side, we reported 120 species. And of course, at Ologbo Forest Concession, in 2015, 71 species in 27 families were enumerated within 15 25 by 25 plot sample. Of course, we know that Ologbo is further south, and yet we have lower species there because this environment has been cultivated. And of course, farming equally, it has been given out as concession for logging. There have been farming and some other activities there, which has really degraded that forest environment. And now, I'm trying to show you the pictorial representation of some of these forests. Within Okomu National Park, you could see the intact forest and epiphyte. You can see one colorful epiphyte, you can see the other with leaves, and around the trees, in between two of the main trees, you can see a lot of tangle. This is the characteristic of the moist forest environment. And within Ologbo Forest Reserve, that is the second picture by our right. That's an area where you have a natural fall. You could see the underground dominated by fence, and you can see some of the saplings coming up, and you can see the dense environment behind this area of natural fall. Of course, my third plate is in a forest reserve. You can see a big, one of the emergent tree species there with very large buttress. This is the typical forest type we are having in the south. However, in the drier forest environment, which has now extended to places like Oyo, Osun, some parts of Ekiti, Kwara, Kogi, Niger State, Nasarawa Plateau, Boshi, Enugu, Ebonyi, Benue, Taraba, and equally in some parts of Adamawa State, the species composition are fewer. Equally, we have been able to identify and bring out some of the species compositions of some particular locations within this forest estate. Like in Oyo National Park, Ogunojemite Eto 2013, 103 species belonging to 34 families were recorded in 3 of the ranges. These ranges including Maguba, Tede, and Yemoso. These are the forested ranges in the old Oyo National Park. Of course, close to us here in Ondo State, we equally have worked on some patches of forest towards the northern part in the Akoko area, that is specifically in Ebomi Lake. Here we recorded 91 plants. I'm not saying woody species now, 91 plants. Out of these 91 plants, 75 were trees, 9 were shrubs and herb, and 9 grass species were equally reported. Of course, we did a little bit, some work too in Kanji Lake National Park, and that is Tiowa et al. 2009, where we reported only 23 species of plants. Of course, this is a specific work. We are trying to look at the roan antelope habitat. There we reported 23 plant species within the roan habitat of Kanji Lake National Park. And of course, I'm equally showing you some of the pictorial representation of some of these forests. In the first picture, that was in Campe Forest Reserve, one of the newly proposed national park. You can see the background, the forests here are open forest. The second one is in Old Oyo National Park. There you can see a tangle tree, and behind it you can see a lot of things. I mean, some of the forest structure, that this environment too is open, unlike the moist forest environment. What are the significance of these Nigerian forests? More than anything else, the resources within them are for the socio-economic development of the people. They contribute to our environmental development within the country. The forests are the home for the wildlife, which we are celebrating. Talk about wildlife without talking about their habitat. You can't without know any organism. Of course, catchment area for river basin. They are equally protection over watershed. For instance, the forested environment of Ekiti is the watershed for River Osun, River Olua, River Ose. That is, Ekiti is the watershed for that region. Of course, Old Oyo National Park is the watershed for River Ogun, and that of Odo Oba. We know the Gashaka environment is the watershed for Yonga River, the Sonte River, and the Katsina Ala River. Of course, we equally note that the upper region of Okwago Division is a watershed for the Cross River and other rivers around that place. These are the things that, if the forests in this environment are removed, definitely it affects the river and the hydrological cycle within them. So the forest is very, very important when it comes to our rivers and the sources of our water. Of course, we know that the overwhelming majority of Nigeria obtain their energy need from the forestry, mostly as fuel wood. In fact, some of these fuel wood are converted to charcoal too. So forests for export capacity for mitigating about essentially the people within the forest, they depend on forest produce, the fruits, the leaves, the poles to build their house they need. Then what have been the approach to the management of our forest? You will agree with me that there are a lot of problems with management of forest in Nigeria, especially in the recent time. However, facing is the overriding political consideration, especially when it comes to management of resources like the forest resources. You will agree with me today that there's nothing we do in Nigeria that we don't bring politics into. It is very difficult. Even in the scientific world now, there are some things that are happening which we just look at when we are talking. When people are taking sampling inside forest, the whole of the forest of southwestern region was once a single block of forest from Ogun State to Delta State. But now, even when we are taking sampling and we are trying to look at what to do, we really believe and agree with us that the Delta and Edo State are part of the ecological West. Of course, there are no demarcation between the forests in Ondo State and those of Edo State. Between the forests in Ogun and Osun State. All these things that we are, the overriding problem have been majorly on politics, and we are seeing it. Now, ecological considerations are really given any attention. And of course, there are no political will within our leaders to change this situation. In fact, it keeps on going on. Take, for instance, the recently announced proposed 10 national parks in Nigeria. Of course, we're supposed to, when it is time for us to increase area of our forest estate towards the south, where we really have the forest, how much this new thing are created. We only have two to say, and those two were in Bayelsa State. The proposed Creek National Park and the Edmond National Park, they are in Bayelsa State. Of course, we will not want to sound political, but notwithstanding, we should be able, if these are the reservoirs of biological service, the biological resources, then it's obvious that attention should be given to some of this environment. So we are equally seeing that our bureaucratic system are inefficient and seriously corrupted. It also includes the greed and unchecked exploitation by the private sectors. Of course, when concessions are given out and people are exploiting, somebody will say they want one or two trees cut down. By the time we get there, about 20, 30 have been felled. These are some of the things we have seen. And of course, even those who are farming within the forest estate, some of their activities now are inappropriate into the management of the forest reserve. What shall be the solution to some of these problems? Well, you will agree with me that every one of us will need attitudinal change if we are going to save our forest resources in this nation. Well, definitely we need to improve on the areas under forestation. 10 new additional national parks is to be created. How much of our forest reserve are viable? And of course, in everything we want to do, the issue of ecological sustainability must be there within the management of our forest resources. We must be able to say we want to close down this forest for so number of years for regeneration, so that we'll be able to have the continuation of some of these resources. And in the management of forest reserve, it should be knowledge-based. research. We should document the rate of exploitation and as well the rate of regeneration. For as long as regeneration lags behind exploitation, there's no way we can make a successful forest management. And of course, there is need for us to do integrated to use integrated methods for the management of our forest resources. In several places, this is done. In East Africa, in the Pacific environment, in some parts of Brazil, these are done. We integrate local knowledge with scientific knowledge. Our forefathers have been managing some of these areas. And with us here in Nigeria, we know we have religious sites, sacred forests. The Osogbo sacred forest, Osogbo sacred grove is there just because it has been attached to one deity or the other. The Ibodi monkey forest have been there just because it has been attached to one forest or the other. When we get to the eastern part of Nigeria, especially where we don't have forests, large forests now, most of the forested area you will see will just be one shrine or the other. And of course, as we are doing this thing, the local community should not be neglected. That is, there should be participatory approach to forest governance. We have done this, have been experimented in some locations in Nigeria. The Afi Mountain experiment is still there and SAN in Cross River National, in the northern part of Cross River. The Mbem Forest Project is there. The Beshebe Forest Project towards Obudu, they are all there and they are doing fine. The communities have seen some of these places as their own, where in some parts of Tarabas too, it has been documented. At a time, about a decade ago, that was the idea they were really putting forward for management of Ondo State forests. But all these are to no avail now because there are no political will to bring out this thing. Without the participatory approach, lost forest reserve by now completely. But we want to thank those people who are working there either as foreign NGO, local NGO, and the community around the forest reserve, especially that biosphere reserve, that core. The other area, of course, is open for everybody, free for all. But that particular environment, we are still seeing some participatory approach of management. Well, as I'm about concluding this lecture, we have given you the different types of forest we are having and why that definition has to change. In the past, we were thinking only forests in the southern part. But of course, with the things that are going on in Nigeria, the bandits, they hide in the forest. And if places are not forests, they will not use that place. And of course, we know that the insurgents, especially the Sambisa forest, is becoming very, very popular. When we get to Kaduna, it is the forested area where you are having serious problem. These are the places where, and of course, if we don't include those areas now, we will not have a good idea of what forests look like in Nigeria. Surely, too, from what the definition we have given, you will equally see that there are differences, only little between in terms of probably species composition and structure from those areas that we regarded traditionally as forested and what we have currently, simply because this environment are being degraded. Where forests are no longer limited to high-risk environments, which were once towards the coastal environment. Of course, the interior now, we equally recognize that there are forested environment there, where the dry environment of high grass, savanna, and woodland are now regarded as forested area. Definitely, we have been able to see that there is over-dependency of communities around the forest or the resources of the forest. Second, and again, this dependency appear not to be sustainable. That is, the level of forest extraction is not sustainable. The level of farming is not sustainable. Many of the activities that are going on within the forest ecosystem are not sustainable. This in turn leads to the degradation of this environment. Ecological sustainability of the forest resources is the only way by which we can maintain these resources, and the only way by which these livelihood, these people can continue to depend on the forest. My people, you will agree with me that forests are beautiful. And of course, forest is life. Thank you. Thank you. Well,
Thank you
up
very
to the
much.
moderator, I will want the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for
Hello.
the... Hello, sir. Thank you
How are
very
you?
much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Ogunjemite.
I've
And
concluded
that's
my
a very good lecture. And I think we have benefited immensely from it. But we would like you to hang on, because we are going to give about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes for general forum for people who have questions for you. Please, we would like you to hang on. We want to bring the Conservator General on board. Then we are going to take your questions together. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Conservator General, is Conservator General ready to come on board now?
Hello. 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 Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. I am D.A. Haman, representing the Conservator General. Thank you very much, Professor Gunjemite, for your paper on protected areas in Nigeria and what is actually happening. And really, the National Park Service is doing everything. Okay. The National Park Service is doing everything possible to see that the national parks presently under protection are being well protected, and then the ones that are being earmarked as proposed national parks to come on board, because the only way we can have our natural heritage conserved by protecting the forest. And we know that this forest is the major means of livelihood of the communities around the park. So it is the responsibility of all of us, not only the government, but all the major stakeholders. And we know and we believe that presently most of these parks or most of these forests are hideouts for these bandits, kidnappers, and what have you. But at the same time, it is also our responsibility to see that they are enlightened appropriately why the forest must be protected, why the forest must be preserved. So the Conservator General is joining hands with all the stakeholders, the paramilitary, the military, to see that everybody is on board, everybody is enlightened. Why these resources must be, resources must be conserved. So it is joint responsibility. It is not only government, it's each and every, right from the communities, the media, the different donors from different areas. It is a joint effort. So we have to come out, we have to come together to see that the sustainable development goals are achieved. And if you have joined us in the World Celebration that was where this Conservator General delivered his paper, key areas were talked about. And those key areas talked about everybody on board joining hands to educate ourselves, and everybody coming out to contribute their quota. Because at the end of the day, posterity will judge us whether we acted positively or negatively. So thank you, sir, for your paper. We hope that each and every one of us will contribute to the well-being of our forest and then the environment. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ama. We appreciate you for the good representation. And we want anyone who have questions for both speakers now to please, you can be allowed to speak now. And you can unmute yourself if you have question. You can signify by the raising up of your hand. You can press the button for raising up of your hands. So do we have anyone with a question for either of the speakers or both? Doctor? Okay, Dr. Oluwatomi. Okay?
Okay. Good afternoon to you all.
Thank you, Dr.
want to
Oluwatomi. You're
appreciate
welcome.
the succinct and educative presentation of both speakers. And I know they are very well experienced researchers and administrators. My question goes to the first presenter and that the keynote speaker, because from his presentation, I observed that it spoke about dependence and of communities on the forest resources, that the dependence is now becoming over, whereas it is excess. Now, there's an underlying factor to this in Nigeria, most especially, that's poverty. Now, I want to ask that, is there any way we can ensure ecological sustainability without addressing poverty? And if there's, I want us to know the practical ways in which we can link poverty to overdependence and how it can be addressed as managers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oluwatobi, for that question. So the question is directed to Professor Ogunjemite. So, Professor Ogunjemite Babafemi, please, do you understand the question?
Thank you. I was following the question. Definitely, when we are talking about livelihood talks about how we meet our needs. And of course, in today's Nigeria economy, just like in those days when we were cracking some joke, one of my friends, I was telling him Okunemeta is from Osun State. He told me categorically there is no Okunemeta again in anywhere in Osun State. Somebody who can stand and stand his way by strength, either financially, politically, socially, are the people we can say Okunemeta. Few people can actually boast of that here in Nigeria today, because the means of sustaining our livelihood have been greatly eroded. And so we look for a way of augmenting. When we look at the large population of people residing in the rural environment, about 70% of the population, and into the forests that have been badly degraded and reduced, of course, we will say that the more we go within the poverty level, the more of impact on the environment. Only within the last few days, we were told that Naira had equally been adjusted. Of course, when we say adjusted, they will not use the word devaluation. The more we devalue our currency, the more we go into it. Somebody who is earning that 30 Naira minimum wage, what can that 30,000 Naira minimum wage sustain now? He has to love it. I am based on the environment. Almost all of us, including ourselves, lecturer, we now those resources play more for us. And when we are doing farming, where do we look into? It is the forest. If we are to hunt, where do we do? It is the forest. If we are going to gather some other things, including maybe some of the medicine, instead of going to hospital now. Very many people that typhoid fever now, they will prefer to go and look for local way of remedy. All these activities are geared towards and these will continue until we find a way of improving our income or making our economy stable, and things are becoming more affordable. For as long as things are not affordable, we are entering more into the poverty level, and surely it is surely more impact on the forested estate. So this is just my little way of answering that.
All right.
Over dependency will continue to go more. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the answer to the question. So, do we have anyone who want to take next? Okay. All right. We have someone from here who want to ask a question. So, you can quickly ask your question, sir.
Yeah, I want to commend the both speakers for a wonderful lectures being delivered. My question is, my question goes to Dr. Ibrahim Musa Shigoni, the person who is, yes, I really enjoy your lectures. I just want to know the rules of the national park in sustaining the individuals or people in the host community. What do they stand to benefit? I mean, what are those things the national park would do to the host community to benefit? Thank you.
All right, next
Hello?
one, sir.
Okay, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay.
We can hear you, sir.
Yes. If you look at world over, the concern of most of these developed nations is the protection of the natural resources we have. And that is because the natural resources affect the livelihood of both the developed, that's those living in urban areas, and those living in rural areas. Because if you talk about carbon sequestration, it is the trees. If you talk about what the wildlife, the nature, the fauna depend upon, it is still the trees. You talk about the people in the communities, it is still the forest, non-timber products, timber products. So generally, the natural resources is what everybody depends upon. So you have to think of giving an alternative, what those people can feed, take care of their livelihood without dissipating the natural resources. So you look for alternative means. So if you look at programs like Jeff, you look at all these NGOs, some of their projects, their programs is to see how the local communities, the people who are close to the forest, can have alternative means of livelihood so that they will not so much depend, they will not so much contribute in destroying the little forests, the little natural resources that we have around the protected areas. So it is a global issue. You talk about global warming. It didn't start overnight. It is because of the activities of man. You look at Nigeria, for instance, there are about 5 pronounced vegetational zones. But if you go around today, you don't differentiate the Guinea savanna and the former rainforest. There is nothing there. Almost everything has been cleared up. So, but the good thing about natural resources is that it's renewable. So when it is allowed after a long period of time, it regenerates. So by investing on the communities, giving them an alternative of, or it means you are protecting what you have that can replenish itself. So the local communities, they have a lot to gain in terms of employment, in terms of different things that can sustain their livelihood. Even this farming method, before it's shifting cultivation, you clear this forest, after 1, 2, 3 years, you move to another place. But now people are encouraged to do mechanized agriculture, where you can farm on a particular land for a long period of time, at the same time getting even more higher yields than all this shifting cultivation. So there are so many ways that people will benefit. Thank you. Hello? Hello?
Thank you, sir.
Hello?
Thank you for, yes, we can hear you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, do we have any other question? Please. So I want to pick the last question now. So if you have a question, can you please signify by raising up your hands? Just click the raise hands button and we'll be able to take your question. All right, thank you very much, everybody. So in a few minutes, we'll be bringing on the next speaker.
Okay, Naga.
Okay, thank you very much, viewers. we appreciate you. We have come to the end of the first session of the lectures. Now we want to bring on board the Director General of Nigeria Conservation Foundation, the person of Dr. Mutari Aminu Kano, but he's not going to be with us until 2:30 p.m. So we are having, we have to wait for the next 8 minutes so we can go on health break. Let us have health break for the next 5 minutes and we come back. Let us just stretch our legs and come back in the next 8 minutes. So by then, the Director General of NCF will be there on board to speak with us. Thank you.
Life can do to us, they can bring great fortune to a nation.
Enjoy our usual hospitality, if possible, be part of the activities in this place for further and better development of our day. Thank you so much and God bless you.
Ladies, I have a governor who can show kindness to nature and animals. Then the governor will be able to show kindness to human beings. It's a good day for the, is it?
Man cannot destroy his environment. Everyone, not just government, myself.
A leader will be able to show kindness to human. No society can be kind to human if they cannot be kind to animal.
Life can do to us. They can bring great fortune to a nation.
Kano State, enjoy our usual hospitality, if possible, be part of the activities in this state for further and better development of our day. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Have a governor who can show kindness to nature and animals. Then the governor will be able to show kindness to human beings. It's a good day for the citizen.
Man cannot survive if he destroys his environment. Everyone, not just government, myself included, we must strive to preserve and to use. These other beings are very crucial in economic development. As I said during the lecture, the soil can become a source of money instead of this Nigerian cry every day, there's no money. We're surrounded with wealth.
So there's a need for a balanced ecosystem. There's a need to sustain all life on Earth so that we'll continue to exist. Because if we continue to remove and to destroy and to bring to naught, then there's a problem for the human race. All life is important to the human race.
First place I have been witness of this 7th edition.
Without plants, we will have shortage of oxygen. As a matter of fact, those plants and those animals, they are our life supports. Once we threaten them, we threaten our existence. And many people do this out of ignorance. So we need to sensitize the populace so that we can be aware. When I assume the headship, we have a total of 112 animals. But as I speak with you today, we have over 600 animals there. And you are asking if government will be able to feed those animals. It's one of the reasons why we are asking government to come and lend their voice. Most times we deprive ourselves of our interests to make sure the animals are fed. Because it's a offense for you to starve any animal that is kept in a captive environment. And we want to be sure that the government will also learn to begin to let go some allowances of political appointees so that animals could be shown kindness. And I want to tell you, if you can show kindness to animals, there is a better day for Nigeria, because our leader will be able to show kindness to human. No society can be kind to human if they cannot be kind to animal. there is
Life can do to us. They can bring great fortune to a nation.
We must enjoy our usual hospitality, if possible, be part of the activities in this place for further and better development of our day. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Ladies, have a governor who can show kindness to nature and animals. Then the governor will be able to show kindness to human beings. It's a good day for the citizen.
Man cannot survive if he destroys his environment. Everyone, not just government, myself.
Be able to show kindness to human. No society can be kind to human if they cannot be kind to animal.
Please, may I bring this announcement to everybody that have joined us on the platform. The Director General of Nigerian Conservation Foundation is unavoidably absent. He won't be able to join us because the board meeting is attending as extended for the next 20 minutes. So there's no way we can continue to hold us for the next 20 minutes. So we want to round up. We want to bring the session to a close now. We want to hear if we have one or two people who have comments. So let us take a general session for the next 5 minutes. So do we have anybody in the house who have any comments? Is anyone indicating to speak? Okay, so, okay. Talk about logistics. Tokwe Logistics, do you want to speak with us? Okay. Okay, Tokwe Logistics is on board now.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you are welcome, Tokwe.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
So I joined a bit late, but I still learned one or two things, and I would say it's a nice one to have this kind of forum.
Thank you very much.
I want to say, if possible, that beyond having this just once in a year, if you could actually have something like a webinar every month, I think that will create more awareness about wildlife. And of course, that will help to create more sensitization to our environment. So I think if we could actually do more of the webinar every month, instead of just having this kind of program, just like commemorate the World Wildlife Day, but have it as a webinar to treat issues surrounding wildlife, especially peculiar to our country here in Nigeria. So I thank you. I may not be able to do much of commenting because I joined a bit late, but so far it was awesome. Thank you.
We understand you, Mr. Tokpe. It might be practically impossible to continue to hold this kind of meeting every month, but we have different special conservation days. You know, there are some months you can have 2 of them, like we have the World Lions Day, the World Elephant Day, the World Migratory Bird Day, we have the International Zookeepers Day. Each of these special days, and is allocated across the year. So if you look at the World Conservation Calendar, we have more than 15 events that run through the 12 months. So it's not only World Wildlife Day, we also have different other conservation days. So I think we need to dwell more in commemorating relevant conservation days in Nigeria. And we are planning to ensure that we synergize the way we commemorate this special day. Like today, if you can look at it, the Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, they are holding World Wildlife Day. Nigerian Association of Zoological Gardens and Wildlife Park, in collaboration with relevant partners like the National Park Service, Nigerian Conservation Foundation, the Federal Ministry of Environment, we are partnering together to and Wildlife Society of Nigeria to do this event we are holding now. So we are looking at a situation where all relevant conservation agencies and body, we come up together and hold one formidable event like the one we did last year. You know, we have been playing it on the screen. It happens to be the African largest World Wildlife event. That was the first time in the history of Africa you have such wildlife event. We have about 2,500 men on a road walk advocating for conservation. And that happens in Imo State. It was held in Imo, March last year. So we want to look at holding this kind of events as a commemoration among the relevant conservation stakeholders, so that nobody will have to do his own on a low key. Everybody will come together. We are going to do a mega one. For instance, if you are going to host this type of event in Abuja, no other agency is going to host World Wildlife Day. Everybody is coming together to hold it there. So that's what is going to be our goal towards the next year World Wildlife Day. And we believe before the end of the second quarter of this year, we are going to write all the relevant agencies, the Federal Ministry of Environment, the Director General, NAZAP, the Conservator General, National Park Service, the Nigerian Veterinary Council, the Nigerian Conservation Foundation, Wildlife Society of Nigeria, all relevant agencies and ministry. We shall come together and hold a powerful World Wildlife event to create awareness in such a way that everybody in Nigeria will know the relevance and importance of wildlife conservation. Thank you very much. So can we all rise and say the national anthem as we bring the meeting to a close?
Yeah, welcome, sir. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Arise, O compatriot, Nigeria, call obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. Shall never to serve unbounding freedom, peace and unity. Thank you all for coming. God bless NAZAP. God bless all our partners. Thank you all.